Welcome, Nation, to another episode of Rogue Nation. This is episode 31. I got the number this time.
Hey.
Tonight, I got Kevin Delacour.
Yo.
I got the Heel Hunter Joe.
What's up?
I got Just George.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got me, the big man.
Hey.
Tonight we're gonna talk a little comics. We're gonna talk some movie rumors, and we're gonna end with some television stuff. So tonight, let's just get right into it. Let's do some comics. Let's start with you, George. You got an interesting read. You got Last God, and you've got Nightwing Annual number 2, if I can speak.
Yes.
So
I guess let's start off with Last God. It's part of the.
Who produced that one?
So I'm actually going to pull it up right now. It's part of the DC Black Label right now, and that is. Let me see. It has a ton of people on the creative team. They even have a cartographer on it, just because they. I'll get into this, but they have maps, and if I could even pull this up.
Okay, I guess we should have seen if he was ready first before I did.
Yeah, you kind of just threw me in there. I usually got
all right.
Seconds.
So we'll pull back. I'll talk first. So you find what you got to find. I read Tales of the Dark Multiverse: The Death of Superman, and not as good as the last book, the Tales of the Dark Knight one, the Nightfall one.
To that point, I read after your raving review of the Saint Batman, the Batman Nightfall, Tales of the Dark Multiverse. Holy shit, it's so good.
Yeah.
And the art was great.
Yeah, it was a really good. I was so surprised at how good that book was.
Yeah.
This one, less so. It's a good read, kept me interested through the whole book. Didn't want to put it down like another book we're going to talk about later.
I'm with you. I read it as well.
Yeah. But, I mean, I just, the funny thing is, it just mirrors the old book so much.
Wow.
Because, obviously Eradicator doesn't go on a killing spree, but he's easily, out of the 4 that come back to try to take Superman's place, the most lethal and ruthless. So the fact that Lois becomes the Eradicator and tries to change, because the whole thing in the book is it's all obviously the Dark Universe. Superman dies, and then everybody shows up after. Lois is holding the body, and she gets really jealous and upset because none of them are there to help him.
Right.
And she gets really mad at him. And they even go, like, at the funeral, all the superheroes are on display when they bury him and everything like that. And she can't even get, like, a front row seat. She's, like, in the background trying to,
Oh, man.
And then the parents, mom and pa can't even go to the funeral because they can't reveal that. Although at that point, why would you care? Yeah. But, and then she goes to see them, and then you find out that Pa kind of was in a coma because he was the one that pushed Clark to become Superman a little bit, so he blames himself for the death of his own son. And then she goes to the Fortress of Solitude, and when she goes to the Fortress of Solitude, the Eradicator shows up, and he's like, all of Krypton's destroyed now because he tried to save the body, like in the original, tried to put him in the Matrix, and then I was too late. And then she tells him, well, use me if you need he's like, I can't hold this form anymore, so Lois tells him to use her. And he's like, well, you won't survive it. He's like, I don't care, but that seems to just kind of go away real quick.
Literally. She just transforms, and I was like,
and then she basically goes out and kills, like, she talks about how it's like, you stop bank robberies, I stop banks. I stop corruption. One of the cool things she does do is, this is red-haired, full hair and beard Lex time.
Oh, okay.
But when he had Supergirl under his thumb and everything,
right.
And she sees that he's responsible for a lot of the problems that are happening in the world. So she goes to see him, and he's just like throwing it all in her face. It's like, I destabilized the government. I did this, I did that. I rolled back some pollution laws. That was just during lunch. I don't know if that counts. And she grabs him by the neck, and she's like, "You're the problem," and she flies him up through the atmosphere and burns him, and he disintegrates.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was like the one cool shot in the book.
Holy fuck!
But I think that was a splash page.
Mm-hmm. So she goes and continues this spree, and then she talks about how she tries to take down the imposters, the Superboy, Steel, and then he's like, they're not, they're just imposters. He's trying, and then he goes to Cyborg, and he's like, he's trying to destroy the Legacy. So they start fighting, and he's stronger and everything like that. And then at the end of it all, when they're destroying the city. She even says, he's like, I don't know how many people died, but they're destroying the city and everything. And then Superman does come back,
in the black
suit. He's like, oh no, he did save me. It was enough time. But by that point, Cyborg's got the kryptonite weapon that is supposed to eradicate Coast City, and he kills Superman again. And that's kind of where the book ends.
Jesus.
But I like how, like, as he's dying, he's seeing people afraid of her, afraid of Lois. And it's crazy. He's like, why are they afraid of you? And like for the first time, like I think she says it, like for the first time, you look at me with disappointment.
Yeah.
Dang.
So it's like, it's a sad book, but it wasn't as like cool and twisted like the last one, like the Nightfall one.
Snyder really kind of twisted the knife in Nightfall. I mean, it was like, from the fact that John Paul was using Venom in a bat suit to the fact that Bruce Wayne was dismembered in Wayne Tower. Yeah,
it's rather gruesome. It paints a dark picture.
Yeah, and then the son of Bane like produces it naturally in his body. It's fucking crazy.
And he was trained by Lady Shiva.
Yeah.
To me, it was so good, and there was so much more story to tell that I wouldn't have been mad if there was a mini.
Mm-hmm.
Like to tell me, like, dude, it was like it's 30 years later. So I'm like, bro, you could have told a lot in this time.
This is something that I can very easily see be revisited.
Yeah,
like they're gonna maybe talk about this, like give this its own book.
Yeah, kind of like the Batman Who Laughs, who was just like part of a mini, and then he spun off into a greater thing. Mm-hmm. This story could easily spin off into its own mini.
But Batman Who Laughs, he's been expanded in the sense of like giving him more presence in the DC universe.
Yeah,
not expanded upon what happened in his time.
Well, they really talk about how he was created, and that was it.
To be honest, it's all you really need with him.
Yeah. It's just every story we get a little bit more. You say it like I can't remember which one it was. I think it was in the Batman Who Laughs, or in the one about the
Grim Knight.
The Grim Knight, the Grim Knight, the one that uses guns or whatever. Mm-hmm. And one of those I can't remember. It's literally like a one-off where he says, "I kept my Alfred alive and just tortured him until he lost hope." And it's like, what the fuck?
I was in the Grim Knight when you told me about that.
Yeah,
so dark.
Well, the cool thing about this is I knew the Nightfall was coming. I did not know the Death of Superman was coming, so I was like, oh, I'll read that one. The teaser for the next one, Blackest Night.
Oh,
so
I cannot wait.
Yeah,
I can't wait how they twist that one.
That's going to be interesting to see how if Hal dies and joins Necron.
Yeah,
that's going to be interesting. So
yeah.
So I read that, and then I also read Silver Surfer Black #5, which is the end of the book, which is the end of the story. Trippy as fuck,
just like the rest.
Nice way to end it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess he just lost the power cosmic or something.
Yeah.
Because he's all black at the end of the book. He's not. He's completely. Oh. Yeah.
But to me, I was confused because it's like, so he's in the beginning of time, so his power, his light, as they dubbed it, is what started life. That was my understanding of the book, that he started life on certain planets, including Zenla, his own planet.
Yeah, well, when he was evaporated into the universe, he seeded everything, and then his power kind of slowly coalesced back, and he found himself again later on in the universe.
Ooh, so could that be the end of the universe, of him coming back? But then he's the fallen one?
Maybe. That's what I was thinking. Is like that's how.
To me, that was my only gripe with this ending. I was like, "What is happening?"
Yeah, it did get a little existential towards the end, and it was like all the trippy artwork really didn't help either. As beautiful as it was, and god damn it, if it wasn't fucking gorgeous, it just kind of confused you towards the end of the book.
Yeah, because a lot of points I remember like holding my iPad, and I literally like would turn. And I'm like, "What am I looking at?"
Zoom in, zoom out.
Yeah, so it was really confused because a lot of it. I can't remember the artist. Damn, I want to give him
Triad Moore. I think.
Triad Moore. Mad props to the fantastic trippy art. But he did really unconventional 2 comic book styles of art. So like instead of like zooming in by like panels or whatever, in like squares or like in halves, they were literally cut across. Yeah, like across like diagonally.
Yeah.
And then that's one image, and then behind that is another static image. But then the one static in the background is moving. Like there's movement happening, and each other subsequent part in between the diagonal pieces. To me, I'm like, it took me forever to realize what was I looking at.
Tradmore, I'm sorry.
Tradmore.
Sounds like an acid trip.
It was. That's what the art looks like.
I did read issues 1 and 2 of that, and I do plan on finishing it. It sounds like a great read.
It was a good book. I cannot fault the greatness of the book. The book was really, really good.
To me, I think it would read better as a trade.
Yeah, you got to really kind of keep it going.
So now, George, I think it would be better for you to read it all together.
Yeah.
Especially to actually understand what the fuck is going on in certain aspects.
Here's one of the pages from this last issue, and it's just like, Jesus Christ.
Wow. That's bright and colorful and dark, and there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of a little different from the book I was reading.
See, like, I can't even understand. Like, I can't even tell you how did he vanquish Null.
Well, I don't think he did because Null lives on. But I can't tell you what happened.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was kind of like a choice of like, okay, since I can't defeat him because there will always be darkness, then I will like spread my light, and that's it. Like, so it's like, wait, so what? Did you just leave the fight and Null just didn't chase you? That to me, that's where it's the gray area where I just don't understand what.
One of the coolest things in the book, though, I thought, was the fact that it was Null against Surfer, and Null had the Necroblade because he's the creator of the Necroblade. Well, Surfer called the board and turned the board into a giant sword.
It was cool.
And it was really cool.
Really cool. He's like, board to me, and you just see this.
It turns into like a giant broadsword.
Yeah, his hand out. The surfboard comes from upward, downward to his hand, and it transforms into a sword. It's so sick.
Wow.
But then you see, like, bro, more than half his body is black at this point.
Is the sword half black, half silver?
Yeah.
Sword? No. The sword is?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's cool. Playing on
it could just be shadow, though. It could
be shadow.
Yeah. But you see how Surfer's changing, how he's becoming all black in that picture?
Yeah.
I'll post a picture on Instagram.
Post his little snippets of the book.
But yeah, that was number Surfer Black, number 5, the conclusion.
I mean, we're a little confused at what happened in the end, so we're not really getting into it, but I still recommend the book as a read. It's a great read. It's a really, and it'll be, and like Kevin said, it's better if it's a trade. You got to read it.
And it's not like the story's gonna continue here and there, and it's gonna be refined over time. And then going from that trippy ass artwork to what I had in The Last God, which I was able to pull up now.
Yeah.
Cool. So there is a long list of creative team.
So this is not superhero stuff.
This is not superhero stuff at all.
So what? So is this DC Black Label or no? It is. Black Label. Okay.
So.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So they have 2 covers: the regular, the variant. It's very dark colors everywhere, and it's written off as like a high octane fantasy, barbaric, epic tale. Cool. I mean, even in the name, it's called The Last God, Book 1 of the Fellspire Chronicles. It almost feels and reads like a Tolkien book.
Cool.
Yeah. So. Like I said, they have the creator-writer, Philip Kennedy Johnson, your artist, Riccardo Federici, your colorist, which is Sonny Gao and Dean White, and then you have a cartographer, Jared Blondo, because they literally put maps for the whole world in here.
That's funny.
Yeah, wow. So that's why I had that maybe like Game of Thrones-esque or Hobbit-esque world building to it. And they really they start you off with things dying, and like, hey, look, everyone has their story of how the world began. They're all wrong. But what they got right was there was a big-ass battle. And it kind of jumps back and forth. It's supposed to be 2 groups, 2 fellowships, set 30 years apart, fighting the same bad guy.
Okay. Wow. So you already know the first one lost?
Within the first issue, it does get into what happened with the first one, but like it doesn't tell you. It shows you a few things here and there, and you piece together the fact that the first fellowship group thought they did. No, not even. The story of the whole world thinks that they did it, that they defeated it. But the real fellowship knows they didn't. They just sealed it inside the main dude, who is king of this world now.
30 years later.
Yeah, so he's king of this world with this evil god of the abyss sealed inside of him. And there's one thing that carries over.
Even that title is Donny Cates' title for Null.
Oh, yes, it is. I mean, it kind of has a little look to it with the red and the black and the darkness of it.
Yeah. That shit looks cool.
Wow. Yeah, tentacles coming out, very insectoid looking. We should add this as well to the Instagram so everyone can see it. But I do love the artwork in it. It's nice. The vibrant scenes are vibrant, but there's always darkness to it.
Does it have any connection to anything, or is it just completely new?
This is a new story, fantasy adventure.
Yeah, all DC Black Label is self-contained stories.
No, I know, but I mean, like even Harley and Joker, Batman, all that stuff, it all has a connection. It's their own self-contained stories, but at least it connects to the DC universe. This is a completely new story. Because you said Last Gods, I thought Last Gods was like an image book or something. Mm-hmm. So when you said DC, my mind went to Fourth World.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this. From what I've been able to find, and listeners, correct me if I'm wrong. This is completely self-contained, not connected to anything else. And I mean, even some of the world building and everything here, I don't know any of the myths or anything involved. So it's not like it's any of those pantheon myths or legends that they've written about. So I feel like it's very new and original.
Okay.
And it looks like it has a lot to go with it. They set up a lot of subplots and things that are going to move on going forward. I can see where they're building towards. And it is just absolutely gruesome. It's that Justice League dark level of gruesome for those first few issues.
Body horror.
Straight body horror, things dripping out of people.
The art reminds me of Marvel's Esad Ribic.
Yes, it does have an Esad Ribic feel to it. And, I mean, I find it beautiful in its own gruesome, compelling way.
Shit.
Yeah, right.
But I think it's going to be a good book.
Got to keep an eye on this one.
Yeah.
I find it beautiful, all these dismembered bodies.
Well, you got to find an appreciation for these type of things. Good artwork is hard to find. I think it's going to be a good book. But moving on from there.
Are you going to read it? Are you going to continue?
I'm going to continue.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a nice high fantasy book, but no magic. No magic yet.
Yeah, so far it's just barbaric. Like, it seems like dark times, but obviously with some kind of supernatural element to it.
Yeah, they do have a little magic. Like, you see someone's hand glow when they go to do an action, but there's no spells, incantation. The magic's not the focus of this.
Cool.
The focus is going to be the fellowship, the two different groups, 30 years apart, and what they went through.
Cut the next book. It's all magic. It's all.
I mean, it might be. Yeah, and then Kevin reads that one, and he's like, "George, I hate you."
Yeah.
Fuck this shit.
But to get into something I actually want to talk about for the first time in a few issues is Nightwing.
Nice.
Good night.
So there goes Joe. He just left. No. You might actually like this, Joe.
Okay.
So, and there's some beautiful artwork. So it's an annual. Annuals, are good for reciting things that already happened, so you know what to catch up on.
Or self-contained stories.
Stories. This is.
I always put animals back.
Yeah. This annual takes place before issue 50, which is a while back of Nightwing. So a lot of this is essentially what happened after he got shot in the head and he woke up with a coma, which I've been wanting. But they finally tie everything together to what's going on now with his grandfather, Talon coming in and everything else in the Court of Owls, and him not having his memories. There's an actual reason he doesn't have his memories, which I was hoping this was the reason. Court of Owls has actually drugged and messed with his head so that he doesn't remember the past 20 years of his life. Come on, Joe. At least there's a reason for it. There's a reason why he called himself Rick. There's a reason why all this is going on.
I dig it.
And there's some great splash pages of Batman holding Nightwing with the blood all over his suit and everything. There's moments in the book.
So there's there pictures of Batman giving him a hand job too, because that's what that looks like.
Oh man.
So thinking the big.
I mean, that one maybe. Dude, you just ruined this awesome splash page.
Thank you for that.
There's also good moments of since his only memories he has is with his family. They have some good moments of him in the trapeze and the circus. Some stories there, and then they have a really emotional moment where Damian's over his bed while he's in a coma.
Wow,
telling him to wake up.
Cool. That
father's destroyed. That he can't go on like this. He's compromised. And then as Damian leaves, you actually see a tear fall from the mask. Oh, yeah. It's a powerful moment. Although I don't like how they're drawing Damian in here.
Why?
I don't know. It's just his face looks kind of weird.
He looks more like Tim.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Tim Drake, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Damian drawn a bunch of different ways. Just his face looks odd. But it's a really good story telling you why everything is happening. And at the end of it, you get to see that the doctor that Bruce flew in from Switzerland, supposed to be an expert in her field. She's part of the Court of Owls.
She's a talent. She's
part of the Court of Owls.
And she gave him the drug
and she's the one who gave him the drugs and the psychiatric therapy
to make him
forget so that he can be groomed. But he's been being groomed since he was a kid. Right? No, he's been being groomed since he was a kid. Since he was in the circus. There was they tell a story where he met some great uncle and great aunt from his father's side that he didn't know existed for Thanksgiving in Bloodhaven. And at the end, you're like, oh, it's a nice memory. It's the only happy memory he has left in his head. When they close that story off, it's them the great grand uncle and the great grand aunt walking back into the house, and someone's there with an owl mask saying that they did a good job and that they're grooming him well. And it's just like, damn.
Cool. So it's retroactively like refitting his origin or backstory for this new Talon storyline.
Yeah. And it
was revealed pretty early on
in 52.
In the Owls, in the Court of Owls storyline that he was always supposed to be a Talon.
Right. Yeah.
Since he was in the circus.
Correct. Exactly. So they're fitting more pieces of that in here, and they're using this amnesia moment for that as well. And then they talk about how when he went home with Bruce to try and get his memories back, Bruce showed him the cave. Bruce showed him the footage. Bruce showed him the Nightwing outfit.
What footage?
The footage of him being shot in the head. So it's like he gave him all these traumatic things. And,
watch it again.
And
dude, I'm going to have you live your worst moment in your life.
Dude, that's exactly what he said. And Damien's there like, I don't think this is a good idea. Yeah. Damien's the voice of reason here.
For real.
But Bruce is just frustrated. He wants his son back.
Is it just me? Does everyone find funny that every time Dick remembers his parents, it's always in the circus? Like, he doesn't have, like, home memories? They're always
they
were traveling? Yeah, they were traveling.
But that's more for you than for the Dick, because if they did that, you're like, wait a minute, where is this supposed to be? If you put him in the circus, you're automatically frame of references.
Well, he says it in here, like, he doesn't remember them ever not being in the circus.
Right.
Like, since he was born on the road.
Yeah, because it was a traveling circus.
Like his father buying me a toy or Christmas. No, we were trapping.
No, he says that holidays were spent on the road, eating food in hotels.
Right.
I mean, okay.
And that's why he has that one memory of meeting these family members, and that's the only one that he has. And it was for Thanksgiving, and they were supposed to come back around the next year, but that's the same year that his parents died.
Yeah, right. And like, just to Justin's point, like, that's just like a point of reference.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's all it is.
It's nicely. They made the puzzle fit well. It's just, I mean, I felt it coming. I felt it coming for a while now that we're going to get something like this. I just like the way that they fit that everyone around him, even the doctor who was supposed to help him, is part of the Court of Owls. And she even helped him disappear. But like telling them, hey, look, Bruce looks like he's not going to give up on you. So here, take this doctor's coat. Don't worry about signing out, and just go and disappear. And it's just like, wow. So he kind of just ran away. But of course, they found him. They continued and everything.
Right, but then he starts rejecting them anyways.
Exactly, and he just keeps saying that High should have feelings for people when you don't remember them at all. It just feels fake, phony. But I feel like the book's finally going where it's been needing to be going,
especially the talent stuff.
Yeah, so I feel like this is going to be an up and up. And I believe that they mentioned either on Twitter or some other reveal that next year he's going to don the suit again.
Thank God.
Well, yeah, he was supposed to go into the new storyline by Tinian. He's supposed to bring back
exactly.
Yeah.
So
I actually kind of wish it would have gone the dark route of him actually becoming Talon.
They might do a dark multiverse story for that though.
Right.
Ooh. I'm okay with that.
Well, bro, where is that revealed?
Well, there's stuff going on right now with him and Talon, but I mean, we're talking about the annual.
Well, New 52 was always that his family was always Talon.
Yeah, the Grey Sons, the Court of Owls.
Bro, I know there was an Elseworld thing. I think was it the Dark Multiverse, Dark Nightfall thing, where there's Talons and then one takes his thing off and it's Dick.
No, that was something else.
I know what was that?
I think his grandfather is in the Court of Owls.
No, his grandfather is Talon.
That's what I'm saying.
His grandfather is Talon. And William Cobb. And what's going on right now in the series is that William Cobb comes back into the picture and he's trying to rope him in to be Talon.
He should be the leader. That would be dope. Imagine that.
You gotta speak up, man. I know you're sick, but...
Oh, yeah. He should lead. That's what I said.
He should lead the Court of Owls?
Yeah.
I mean...
Against Batman. against the family.
But can you imagine that?
The family that he feels that are phony and fake.
Right.
I'm sorry, that would be the storyline that we all would be following.
That would crush Bruce.
Wasn't that like a future storyline that happened where he pulled off the mask and he was
talented? I think Kevin's right.
I remember Kevin mentioning that.
I can't remember where's that in. Like, where's that from?
Yeah, and then Batman's like...
Wait, wasn't that in... Or are you reading Last Night on Earth?
Yes.
Wasn't it in that?
Oh, okay.
Yes,
that's what it was
last night.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what it's right, because they just reached in Last Night on Earth. They just reached New Gotham or whatever that's called.
Yeah, and he's a talent in Neo Gotham.
Yes. Okay, I'm not crazy then.
No. I just couldn't figure out where.
So it's cool that it's like, damn, even in like across multiverses, that's his fate. That's scary. That's cool.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's gonna get away from that fate, and I want to see how that happens. Because I mean, it's the Court of Owls. So kind of don't walk away from them easily.
So, we got Kevin with the last couple of books tonight. We got Marvel Zombies and we got DC's number 6. Now, where do you want to start? Because I want to hear about DC's number 6. Number 5.
Doing your zombie books.
I'll leave it last then.
Yeah.
Because the Marvel Zombies, that's just brief. It's funny how both my books are zombie things. But fitting because I read them in the last week of October leading up to basically Halloween. So, Marvel Zombies Resurrection is exactly what the premise says, where specifically Reed, Tony, and some of the Avengers like Thor and War Machine gathered some of the heavy hitters of the X-Men as well. So Wolverine, Magneto, and Magic, and I think Beast. I can't remember who else. Yeah, it's like a big group of Avengers / X-Men. They're like, okay, Carol, Miss Captain Marvel's like, hey, there's something out here, whatever. I need you guys to come get me. And then the comm breaks out and they can't reach her again. And it's something about Galactus. And they're like, Reed is being able to literally know where Galactus' body is. That he's at the edge of our solar system, but then he stopped moving. They're like, okay, what happened? They're like, well, he's showing as if there might not be any signs of life. So they're thinking great, now he's dead, but then now his technology and body could fall to the wrong hands.
Yeah.
So that's this team of Avengers and some of the heavy hitters and X-Men have to go and stop whoever might know of Galactus' body just there. So they get there, he's just floating, he's dead. They're like, yo, this is as good as... Wolverine's like, this is as good as dead. He even reeks, he smells dead. In space, right. Because logic. But then they go into his mouth because Wolverine's like, I saw someone duck from Galactus' mouth. So they get off into his mouth. They start literally exploring Galactus' insides.
This is weird.
And of course they take off their fucking helmets because logic.
Well, I mean, it's the Richards crew. They always do stuff like that.
But it's not only them. Again, it's the Avengers and the heavy hitters of X-Men.
But they're going to follow the Explorers. Hey, the Explorers took off
But the first one that did it was Wolverine.
Oh, yeah. He's fearless. He can't die.
So all the Fantastic Four, they even part ways from their kids, Valeria and Franklin. So in there, the whole time, Wolverine's like, I smell something familiar. I just don't know what it is. It's in a reeks or whatever. So they separate because that's always a good plan. So they separate. So the parts of the Avengers and some of the X-Men and parts of the Fantastic Four and some of the other Avengers, they leave War Machine out. And of course, things start coming out from pockets inside organs of Galactus. And it's undead Chitauri and Kree and Skrulls, and they all start attacking them one by one. Right, and then they come across Carol, the Wolverine side of the team. And she immediately tells them, oh, come see. So it's oh, crap, so they could speak. They're aware. So their behavior throughout the book is that they're parasitical? No. Like a virus. It wants to spread.
Parasitical?
Uh-huh. No, it wouldn't be parasitical.
They're like a virus that want to spread?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right, I don't know. That's to me, I think that's the behavior that I would call a parasitical. So yeah, it gets everyone one by one. So they're all trying to leave and trying to get the information of do not come looking for us or Galactus. Of course, Cap's idea was he left War Machine on the spaceship just outside the mouth of Galactus, and he's like, I need you to make the hard call. If something goes bad, I need you to leave. And Rhodey's is like, okay, sure thing, whatever. So when all this is happening, Rhodey's like, Cap, hey, anyone. Of course, he's not hearing anything, but he's hearing come see. So just as before he leaves, Cap is inside and he's telling Thor, I need you to be Earth's last defense and mightiest hero. I need you to leave as they're all getting attacked. And it seems like they're all going to die, clearly. Thor makes it out just before the mouth of Galactus is a zombie gladiator. You don't see that fight, which is, I think, the gripe I have with the book of like a lot of cool pairings and fights felt so cool, but then you don't see a lot of it. The Silver Surfer one was really cool because he comes up from like, I think the stomach acids, the lower intestines of Galactus, and the little metal parts of him like literally melt off.
Wow.
Yeah, to me it's so gross. It's very grotesque. So you don't see the fight of zombie gladiator against Thor, but it cuts to Rhodey coming out the ship, about to go into the mouth, and then zombie Thor attacks Rhodey and gets the spaceship attacks, explodes.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a...
I believe that's how it ends. No. It's Valerian Franklin, the kids of Reed and Storm.
Sue
Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Storm.
Technically, I was right. I said both last names.
Yeah,
true. Whatever.
True.
Valerian and Franklin are being babysat by Spider-Man. And he's like, "Oh, what could go wrong?" They're like, they're like the RA team for like exploring space or whatever. And they're like, "Yeah." Franklin's like, "Hey, what's that?" And you just see Galactus, like zombie Galactus, entering the atmosphere, but head first. And that's it. Like that's how it ends. And I'm like, what a weird way to end.
It's coming in head first. Bro.
Yeah.
Like a missile.
Yeah, that's exactly what he looks like.
So I'm going to continue.
He's like diving into the earth.
I'm going to continue because I'm like, this was a cool start. And I'm so high from, Tom Taylor's Deceased that I'm like, man, I want to see if it's just as emotionally gripping as Deceased was. But so far it's not as emotional, but, again, it just started. It's just issue 1.
Looking at a couple of the panels here, Sue watching Johnny get infected.
Oh, that was heartbreaking.
Looks pretty damn heartbreaking and emotional.
Yeah, it's her brother.
Yeah, and then Reed being behind her, which is not his last name.
To me, the craziest part, I think it's in that same page. Iron Man's armor and body gets torn apart.
Yeah, he's being ripped apart in the first.
And then it takes I think all the zombies to take Wolverine. He literally gets overwhelmed.
Well, the Thing does as well. It looks like, and Nova pops out.
Thing, I don't understand the explanation of how the hell Thing gets infected.
Yeah, he's a rock.
Yeah, I don't understand how they get to any skin or anything.
Maybe it's like it depends on how the disease is spread. Because if they get the liquid that spreads it into his mouth, it gets inside of him.
Okay.
No, thank you. Okay. My fiance offering us muffins.
I'm offering her to help, but
Justin, would you like a muffin?
No, I am fine. Thank you.
So the listeners would want a muffin.
No, they don't want.
Does that make me the muffin man?
Well, do you know?
But yeah, that was Marvel Zombies Resurrection #1. So the one I really did want to talk about, give me the iPad because I do want to recap a lot of the really crazy shit that happens here.
Did you notice this? Look at the writer of Marvel Zombies Resurrection.
Oh, the same guy as Last God.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So I guess he knows some gory stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay with that.
So Deceased, Tom Taylor's Deceased, the conclusion, #6, where we see literally the last standoff of our heroes in a zombified apocalypse after literally their last hope dies because Superman gets infected, gives his heart-to-heart with his family, and leaves the atmosphere, but it's too late. He gets zombified, and he goes back to Earth.
Should have spent all that time talking.
Bro, holy shit.
That's a hell of a way to start this one.
This fucking thing was so good. And it's like how we saw it's to me, I think it's the opposite of Silver Surfer Black that we thought Justin agreed that like that Silver Surfer Black was probably a better read as a trade that you could read all of it all together. Mm-hmm. I think DC's worked as singular issues in between a couple of weeks because it allowed you to like digest what the hell you just like what you just read.
Yeah.
So I can't remember how DC's just started. I just know it's Superman coming back and just utterly destroying shit because people are like, "Hey, it's Superman. He's coming to save us in pockets of the world," and it's like, no, he's destroying shit. Damn, if I could damn freaking find it. Yeah. So after freaking Superman destroying a ton of shit, of course Damian is like, there's a plan. Of course, Batman had a plan. Bruce, dead Bruce now, I love the flash drive. It even has like a Superman logo on it. I'm like, what if they found that?
Hey, it could just be like a toy flash drive.
But yeah, and I love, there's so many awesome one-liners, and I will say them all because they're that incredible. That Tom Taylor just did such a phenomenal job with like certain characters that made them stand out. Damian Batman being one of them, and Dinah Green Canary essentially was another, and Wonder Woman. Where he's like, there's a contingency plan for all the heroes, and Oliver Green Arrow was like, damn, even me. He goes, actually, you're the only one that didn't have a contingency.
Love it.
And but I love how it starts with Oliver's like, of course he did. Bruce doesn't even have to be alive to scheme against all of us. And Damien's like, actually, he didn't leave one for you. And he's like, damn, Bruce didn't think I could be dangerous. And then Dinah, I love Dinah. Like, are you hurt that Batman didn't have a post-mortem Machiavellian plan to end you? He's like, well, yeah, I could be a planetary threat if I wanted to. And Dinah's like, of course you could.
Of course, yeah. Of course, Oliver.
To me, it's so good. And of course, like, Damien's like, oh, where was it? And Alfred's like, oh, like left. Second to the last left pocket,
so
and it's like
pouch?
Which pouch it is, and it's like it's literally right there.
Yeah, because Alfred knows those pouches,
right? And it's kryptonite, of course. So Wonder Woman gets the idea of like the god of like forge and craft, and also the one of warriors and fighting and warring and whatever. So she literally forges the kryptonite into her sword. And I love the way she's like forging it and whatever. Down to like the goggles, but like, what does it matter? Right. You're already not wearing armor. Your skin's already exposed.
It's not about exposed, so you can actually see what you're working on.
Sure. Logic. So they divide. So some have to go to where Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn are to get those refugees that are still, I think that's Gotham?
Yeah, Harley Quinn being Gotham.
The jungles that Ivy has created to keep the refugees safe in the safe haven.
Yeah.
And then Themyscira is the one where the other part of the world have been in this safe haven where land from underwater, like submerged land, has been risen up to extend the island of Themyscira. That goes, what's that word? Backfires on them because it breaks the spell of Themyscira. It's no longer invisible. So then now somehow zombies start tagging them, and they realize it's Atlanteans.
Oh man!
Being controlled by, and also the Kraken, zombified Kraken, being controlled by Arthur, Aquaman, zombified Aquaman. Because the anti-life equation, they're not like dumb zombies. The thing is to just kill and destroy. Yeah. So they could still think. They could still use their powers, even.
Like the Blackest Night zombies.
Yeah, exactly.
Think of like the Black Lanterns, right?
Yeah.
So Harley and Ivy stay behind in Gotham while they fill one whole arc to get off the planet with those refugees, and then the other one at Themyscira, they're trying to get everyone off as the Atlanteans are attacking. And then I want to show you guys the Kraken and then the zombie Atlantean army with, you see Aquaman on top of the Kraken.
That is a great wallpaper picture right there.
It's awesome.
That is fantastic. We need to post that one up too.
And then I just love how it cuts to just an arrow piercing Arthur's eye, Aquaman's eye. And then I love this fucking panel. It's Green Arrow, and he goes, and Batman didn't think I could be dangerous. Just fired an arrow 1/2 mile through ranging winds in the brain of the undead king of the sea while he was controlling a damn kraken. Fuck you, Batman.
Jesus.
And to me, it just came in such perfect timing because it was like, it's like 11th hour. It was so dire. It was such a cool win, but the war is still happening. Like the Atlanteans are still attacking or whatever, while the Muscarians, Amazonians are fighting off, and they're literally all getting picked off because as the dead wins, they gain in that army, and nothing is more dangerous than an Amazonian, zombie. Because they think they could still think, so they can still strategize and fight.
So use tactics and everything else they have.
So you see, like Wonder Girl.
Yeah, Wonder Girl.
Right, because it's not. Is it Donna Troy?
No, it's Cassie Sandsmark.
It's the other one.
Yeah, the other one. Jesus.
Hey man, there's been a few generations of heroes and sidekicks. Look at Batman; he has a lot of Robins.
Bro, and then Wonder Woman had already flown off with the Kryptonian sword, I guess. Yeah. Kryptonian forged
war sword,
right? To fight them off, and it's taking Green Canary, Wonder Woman sword or whatever, and Cyborg. All of that is hurting dead Superman, but not like he's not budging much or whatever.
So they just unleash Doomsday. I mean,
should have what?
So they just unleash Doomsday.
No, because then he would just finish everything off. Imagine zombified anti-life equation Doomsday.
But, I mean, he would overcome it because he overcomes everything.
No. I don't think so, not this.
No.
Yeah, so, Hippolyta? Right? That's Wonder Woman's mom. She dies with the remaining Amazonians trying to save the refugees to get in the Ark to get off planet. Superman, of course, gets the best of Wonder Woman as she stabs him. I love this picture. As she stabs him with the Kryptonian forged sword, but he stabs her right through the gut. And of course, she gets zombified.
Of course.
The Dinah, who's been such a star in this Deceased series, now has the sword. So I'm like, what the fuck? And she gets to cut off Superman's arm.
Oh, wow.
Wait, why is it still showing there?
No, didn't Wonder Woman cut off the arm?
It was Wonder Woman, you're right. But she's saying that, like, now I have to do it. So she flies off. Cyborg stays there with Wonder Woman as she's dying. She's not, like, yet infected. And to me, one of the most emotional fucking pages and panels is John, son of Superman, knows. He's like, he's coming. I have to do this. I have to, protect everyone. And I love that. Like, it's kind of like a weird thing of, I guess, like Superman's thoughts as if he weren't infected, where he said, I never wanted my son to be a hero. Our children, we are supposed to protect them. But then it's cutting to him making the decision of like, I'm gonna go protect the Ark so humanity could live on, but I have to go fight my dad.
Well, he speaks to Damien.
And when he's talking to Damien, it's so heartbreaking. He goes, he's coming, my dad. And he goes, that's not your dad. He goes, yeah, I know. Is there anything I could do? And he goes, look after my mom. Of course. They hug out, and he goes, you're going to be a great Batman. Dude, I cried.
I get chills.
I cried. Look, Joe.
Jesus.
I cried in this. That was so fucking hard. It was perfect. It was such a perfect fucking moment. And Lois, of course, tries to stop him, John, and he's like, Mom, it's okay. I know what I have to do.
Right.
And he does the Superman like revealing of the S.
Nice. There's a zipper on it.
Right.
It's like PJs.
And he flies off to literally go meet up with his dad. And it says like kaboom.
Right, they hit each other.
Right. So he gives them the Ark enough time to like get away, but now he's literally faced Superman just enough time for then Dinah, Green Canary, to show up with the sword. All hope is lost until the rest of the Green Lantern Corps show up.
Good.
Nice.
But not just the Corps, you also have
Guy.
not just Guy, the Guardians.
Oh yeah, the Guardians of O are like, what the fuck is going on in this sector? This shit's crazy.
It's always 2-8-1-4.
Yeah.
God damn
And
it,
I love
guys.
Guy being a fucking asshole. Like he's trying to make light of the situation, and she's like, really humor now? And he goes, it's my thing.
It really is.
God!
Should be like, that's how they
Well,
write
it's that and anger, and I think he got over the anger stuff.
That's how I've lasted in comics for the last 30
Yeah.
years.
So then Superman sees the odds.
Wow.
And then and stops, and the I think Guy or the Guardians are like, what are they doing? Oh no! And one of the Guardians of O is like, it's calculating. It's an equation. It's doing the math. And he flies away. He goes straight to the sun to absorb the sun.
Oh no!
Because he knows if he can't fight head on, he's gonna destroy life that way.
Dude.
So he flies into the sun to suck the solar energy of the sun. It's crazy. Look at that panel of him absorbing the sun.
That looks beautiful.
It's sick. So he's draining the sun. They're like, okay, what do we do? It's like, we have to leave and save what's left of humanity. So they leave. To me, this is the darkest fucking point of this book. It's the most comic booky thing. Wonder Woman turns. Cyborg is there, left alone on a dead planet with Wonder Woman. Just before she attacks, he wraps around her lasso of truth. And he's like, you have the lasso of truth, speak. And she looks at him dead and says, we have a voice. He's speaking to the anti-life equation.
Nice.
Dude, that's sick.
And he's like, is there any way to stop you? Is there a cure? Anything. He's like, we are deaf, you cannot stop death. He goes, is there a cure? She goes, yes. The cure is in you. You are like a switch between life and death. And he's like, oh no, like, are you serious? All this fucking death, and I could have just stopped it? Mm-hmm. Now, it's not ambiguous. I think it means he's the source. So I think if he would have died, if he would have killed himself, he would have stopped the infection from spreading. That's what I think. That's how I interpret it. So I'm really not too sure. But of course, as he's like distraught from this lesson, he looks up at the Arcs escaping, and she kills him. So there goes any hope. And she throws the lasso of truth, which is I thought was so fitting.
Wow.
But the Arcs are saved, and they're going to a new sector that the Guardians and the Green Lanterns are taking them. And they're like, and John is back on the Arc with Lois and whatnot. But, that's it. There's hope. There's a new planet, but we don't know what could happen. Superman is still out there literally in space absorbing the sun.
Absorbing a sun. That's something to be
right. And then there's a bunch of dead heroes on this planet.
This is the last issue?
Yeah, the end of it.
Yeah, it literally says end.
Oh, wow.
End. Now, the weird thing, because I never talked about it. The spin-off of A Good Day to Die, which was between 3 and 4 or whatever, is just other heroes. Mr. Terrific, Big Barda, Mr. Miracle, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, and John Constantine. It's just another group of heroes trying to survive this zombie apocalypse. They all die at the end. The spin-off. And it's great. I still suggest if you're going to read this season, you have to read that one. I think it's amazing. But it ends with Booster Gold disappears. And he says, my future is disappearing. So solidifying, I was like, okay, so the zombie apocalypse doesn't win or whatever. Dr. Fate shows up from a portal and saves John Constantine. And he says, you are the last hope. That's how that book ends. Oh. So it's like, but there's people with him. There's other heroes with Dr. Fate in the portal. And they bring John Constantine. And he's like, you could have saved me before all these people died, including Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, and Big Barda, and Mr. Miracle, and all that stuff. He goes, we only needed to save you. Their death leaded you to this position. This was the only place we could get you.
Dr. Fate, cold calculated.
Right, capture. But then it's like, wait, so where are those people? If the whole planet is dead, where are they at?
Right.
So I think that leaves it open-ended enough for a sequel, like a DC's 2.
Yeah.
I'm fucking down for it. As long as Tom Taylor writes it, I'm down for it.
Cool.
Fuck it. This book to me was amazing. And I think
you telling us about this book makes me want to read it.
Dude, I still suggest to read it because it was every issue was gut wrenching. It was emotional as fuck. To the point that my fiance would look at me and she'd be like, what the fuck are you crying about now? But it was awesome. I legitimately kind of want the trade. that like Francis Matina double cover. One is Zombie Superman, the other one's Zombie Batman. They both look incredible.
Cool.
So, the last comic book of the night is
Joey, you didn't read anything? Oh, sorry, you did
Excalibur.
Power Rangers last week.
Yes. Power Rangers is next week.
So Excalibur number one.
Number one.
In my opinion, the first dud of the Dawn of the X series.
I'm not alone.
We knew you
and it wasn't just the magic. And it wasn't just the magic.
No, it really wasn't. It really wasn't. It took me 2 sittings to read this book.
I liked it. But okay, go.
It took me 2 sittings to read this book. I had to put it down because I was so bored. I was so bored with this book. There was nothing happening in this book. It was so boring. But
I did. Okay, however, I did like that we got a glimpse more into the life on Krakoa. Right. But outside of that, I just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. So your book opens with
Cylon. Well.
Yeah. Well, no,
not even. It opens up with like a siege of a castle.
No, it's Camelot. It's a show.
Right. Camelot.
And then using Morgan Le Fay as a villain again, which is just, I'm so tired of this. It just seems like every time there's some kind of medieval, it's Morgan Le Fay. It's like, give me a break. But she's upset because her portal of seeing has Krakoan flowers in it. And she lives in Otherworld, which is a parallel dimension to our world. So she wants to know why the flowers have popped up in her seeing thing. Meanwhile, in our world, Betsy.
Cylon. I call her Cylon.
No, I know, but it's
Betsy
not her.
Betsy Bart. Yeah.
Braddock, thank you.
Right.
Because they've already resurrected the real Betsy Braddock, and she's no longer combined with Quanon anymore to be Psylocke. Right. She's just Betsy.
Yeah, she's back in her own body.
But they didn't talk about how they resurrected her. It's already
right.
Yeah. So. They resurrect her. She's talking to her brother. She's talking. Everything's kind of being set up. She's going to go to Krakoa.
Krakoa, right?
I missed. Oh my God, Braddock. Fuck.
Brian
Braddock.
Yeah,
I missed the beard.
Yeah.
He looked better with the beard.
Yeah.
The beard was awesome.
So
because now he just looks like a wannabe Cap.
And then you cut to Krakoa, and then you've got a storyline going on where Apocalypse has
he's
Trinary.
What do you call Apocalypse?
No, he's got a new name in Krakoan that you can't pronounce.
I love that he keeps correcting people.
Yeah.
He's like, please call me, and it's Trinary's like, yeah, I can pronounce that.
Apparently, there's been gates for Krakoa that have popped up all over the world, and some of them you can't get through them.
Right.
You don't know where they go.
Here, even in the Garden of Krakoa.
Yeah. So he's investigating those gates because I think it's even called like what is it called?
No, go forward.
Yeah.
You can just tap.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like his sanctuary. Like it's his
specific
study.
The Grove of Theoretical Gates.
Right.
So he's investigating these theoretical gates to figure out where they go and what they do. And
specifically one that is like cracked or stuck or something. Like solid. It's solid for some reason.
Yeah, and he's got like magical items that he uses against it. And there's even a line later in the book where he starts talking about magic, and Jubilee's like, magic? And he's like, well, it is older than science. He's trying to explain it. It goes on from there because then they think Betty could help, or Betsy could help, and then they drag Rogue and Gambit into it.
No. Not Betty can help us. It's
right.
Because while helping the first brother who's been revived, but he's stuck in his pod.
Yeah,
he's not stuck in it. He's just hanging out in it.
He's the first one that doesn't like want to get up and live again.
No, he's like right here. I'm good.
My spirit animal right there.
Yeah, vegetating. Right, he even has a cocktail. But yeah, she comes across them, and he's like, Apocalypse is like, can you fetch your other brother, to help us? Because he's convinced that. How does Apocalypse know that it connects us to other worlds?
Who knows? He just kind of divines
it's
it.
Apocalypse.
It's And
I know I sound excited. It's just I was so over this fucking book.
I don't blame you.
The only thing I liked was the sibling banter between brother and sister.
I thought
Jamie Braddock looks like Burt Reynolds.
So to skip to the end here because this
it's not worth meandering.
Let's skip to the end here because this book is really not worth it.
The Sleeping Beauty?
Yeah, well, yeah, there's that too. But they go to Camelot. They fight Morgan Le Fay. Morgan Le Fay turns Captain Britain because Captain Britain goes too. Turns him into his Black Knight.
Right.
And then
he gives
Apocalypse and everybody show up with Jubilee in tow for some fucking reason.
We need fireworks,
I guess. And then
hating on Jubilee.
And then like this. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. So they show up. Captain Britain, who's now the Dark Knight, basically. Betsy takes the amulet that makes him Captain Britain from him, and the Dark Knight, which you can see is still Brian inside the magic, is telling him, "Take it. You need to put it on."
Right.
And then once they get back to our world, she's now the new Captain Britain. Right. Betsy's the new Captain Britain, which I will say I do like that.
Same.
I do like that.
Same.
But everything else is like they roped Rogue and Gambit into this, and I'm like, this pisses me off because two of my favorite characters are now in a book that I absolutely cannot read.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but one's Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, and then Rogue ends up becoming sleepy. Like she falls asleep.
She touched the.
Well, and you know why Captain Britain gets involved with this? His power
is from there.
It's from Merlin.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The amulet comes from Merlin.
Yeah. Well, he draws his power from Otherworld.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I gotta say, I mean, I just can't.
No.
It's not a.
It's slow.
It's a slow book.
Yeah.
I won't be continuing this book at all.
To me, the magic stuff was all over the place and was like the final nail in the coffin. On top of it being a slow book,
I like magic.
I don't care. I didn't care about these characters. I didn't care the way it went about it.
That's my problem.
Yeah,
I said it while you were gone. This book upsets me because it ropes two of my favorite X-Men in, like Rogue and Gambit, into a book about magic, and I'm like, why don't you use magical mutants? Why are we using
Jubilee too?
Yeah, and Jubilee just go away. Yeah.
They might
X-Men use called Magic.
Yeah. Oh, she's doing other stuff, but they might use them as just a way to talk to the audience of just like, let's explain magic through Gambit.
That's horrible.
But let's be honest.
Well, because he's the one that needs the explanation.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's a surrogate, right?
Well, then you have a character like Apocalypse, who's always been a surrogate for science and machinery and stuff like that, and now he's dealing with magic, and it's like if he has in the past, it's never been a focal point of his character. So why are we throwing him into this book?
His name's not Apocalypse anymore.
Right.
All right, this is it.
When you can pronounce what his name is, then I'll start calling him.
He's the artist formerly known as.
Yes, exactly. He has different views.
The mutant formerly known as Apocalypse.
Right. Apocalypse was a slave name.
It's the symbol. Please call him the symbol.
Yo, that symbol is ridiculous.
If we read it, it does say the symbol, I'm gonna laugh.
But no, let's be honest. Gambit's new outfit. Can we just talk about it?
It's whack.
What? I like it.
No, it's whack.
The short coat instead of the long overcoat.
It's whack.
This is a new age Gambit.
No,
I'm cool with it. They still give him the headgear. Come on.
Because he's not Gambit without it.
And what's with the purple? I mean, no.
His powers have always been purple.
I get you, but not I don't need a full blown.
No, the outfit isn't purple. It's just a purple light on it. He's not purple. I feel like it has that yellow tone to it.
Bro. Give it a trench coat.
No, trench coat's so old school. Look, you see it is brown. You can see it in the other panels. It's brown and black. It's just a short instead of an overcoat.
Even his hair looks
Who needs
weird.
an overcoat in Krakoa?
God, even Apocalypse looks weird.
No, I have to admit, Apocalypse's new design being like non-threatening.
He was like a pharaoh.
Yeah, he was like a pharaoh, but in like peacetime.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a reborn Apocalypse. It's a new Christian Apocalypse. He's been baptized again.
Because he's the only reason why I even bothered reading this fucking book.
And it sucks.
and it still pissed me off.
It sucks.
Look, I'm gonna read one more issue just to see where it goes, and then that's when I'll decide. I know you guys, Justin and Kevin, you guys are off.
I'm off.
I am not reading New Mutants. Fuck that book.
Why?
I've never ever liked the New Mutants.
Well, okay. I wanted to give every number one a shot.
That's how I feel.
I like New Mutants. That class, I like those kids. I like Armor.
Never liked any of those kids. But okay, fine, I'll read it. But
then Marauders, I didn't think I was going to like, but because I read issue 1, I was like,
dude, Marauders was great.
No, well, I'm okay with this. Kitty Pryde, Red King, let's do it. But yeah, that was Excalibur.
Don't go get it.
No, I mean, hey, give every book a shot. Your taste may not be the same as ours.
That's true.
Whatever. Let's move on. I didn't want to talk about this.
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about this, but I shut up about 5 minutes ago.
Well, I was giving us an ending so that someone can surrogate into the next.
We don't need
All right, so movie news.
So the movie. So we're going to go into some movie rumors right now. It's not really news because
DC fake news.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out what we want to call a segment where we talk about rumors. So right now we're just calling it fake news. Tonight we're going to talk about some of the Batman casting. We know for sure.
We never talked about Kravitz, and that's for sure.
We never talked who?
Kravitz,
Catwoman.
Yeah.
Oh, Zoe Kravitz. I'm sorry. So we have Robert Pattinson as Batman. We got Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. We have
Jeffrey Wright Gordon,
Paul Dano Riddler, and then we just got 2 names. We got Andy Serkis as Alfred, and then we got actually we got 3. If you want,
wait,
these
but
are
that's
all
not,
rumors.
The last 3.
These last 3 names are all rumors.
Right.
We got Andy Serkis as Alfred. We got Colin Farrell as Penguin. And then we got
Matthew McConaughey as Two-Face.
Thank you. God.
The whole Rogues Gallery is in this damn movie.
So let's go one by one.
But if it's a Long Halloween movie,
it makes sense.
Then it works.
It does not work if it's one movie. Long Halloween, you cannot fit into one movie.
You could.
No, you cannot.
You cut a lot of
Long
corners.
Halloween into one movie?
Yeah.
You cut a lot of corners.
Yeah,
It's called Long Halloween for a reason.
You cut everything up until the big moment.
Okay, so let's go through it. We already know how we felt about Pattinson. We talked about that one on the podcast. So we got Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman.
Yeah.
I'm
sure Alfred's 100%. It will be confirmed that it is.
I'm in. My only bother with that actress is I think she acts the same in everything. She has an incredible fucking agent because she's in every franchise. Mad Max, X-Men, Hunger Games. Like, she's fucking everywhere. It's crazy. She was the Angel.
Thingy.
She was Angel.
Oh, that's right.
The
But she was only in the first one.
Yeah,
she was only in the first
class.
Yeah.
And then, of course, she turns evil and then leaves or dies or some shit.
She was a stripper.
Yeah,
she's a stripper.
But that's what I'm saying. She has the same like sleepy-eyed, resting bitch face in everything, and she acts the same. She
really doesn't have.
She is the mumble rap equivalent of acting.
Damn, Kevin, you went there.
Kevin's
going in.
Well, again, like she's not bad, but bro, I've never seen her stretch her actual acting ability.
She doesn't have potential ability. She's kind of like Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis always plays Bruce Willis.
Yeah. Which I'm okay with because it's Bruce Willis.
The Rock
is The Rock in almost everything.
Exactly.
Right.
So Kevin Hart is Kevin Hart.
So her, Selena Kyle / Catwoman, I'm like, that's fine.
She fits that role.
I'm sure she could be, a sleepy-eyed, sexy Catwoman.
So
a little.
She could probably pull it off.
Little Halle Berry meets Michelle.
I'm just happy that it's not Kristen Stewart because that's what everybody was pulling.
Ew, no.
Dude, that one's even worse of an actress.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about the same in everything. Kristen Stewart's horrendous.
She just be like,
she was being put in every movie at one point. I was like, why?
She has a.
She made me not see The Huntsman.
All right, next.
So we got Jeffrey Wright as Gordon.
Totally
incredible.
Felix Leiter as Gordon. I'm in.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Then we got Paul Dano as Riddler. I like this.
I like
this.
Okay with
I don't know him, so
I like it. He literally looks like a drawing of Riddler.
Yeah, he looks like.
So I'm fine with it.
He does look like it.
He has that awkward look.
He did really good job in There Will Be Blood. So
Taking Lives.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't seen either.
He's a serial killer there. So you're
perfect.
better.
He's already in.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we get into the rumors. We got.
Was this those 4?
Yeah, it was just those 4.
That's confirmed.
Those are confirmed.
No, the last 3 are rumors.
I think Serkis is.
Andy Serkis is Alfred.
Okay, Serkis is Alfred. I have a huge problem with.
Okay, why?
I want him to do more.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't want
him.
Right, I don't want him just. Oh, really? Like, just supporting Robert Pattinson is like Robert Pattinson's Batman. Is like he was great as Ulysses Claw. You get me? He was great in King Kong. When you see Serkis outside of the CGI, fest,
he does kind of control the screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he has, I hate to say, but he has such an intimidating nature to him that to relegate him as just a butler is so, I don't know, to me, such a slap in the face.
And every time you see him, he's completely different.
Yeah.
He's never the same twice.
He has a wide.
That's why, bro. I would have loved him as a villain.
I like him because I like to see him in almost anything.
Right.
So that's why I'm happy for this. I'd like to see him do this. But I feel where you're coming from, and I tend to agree with that. Where it's like, yeah, I want him to have more to do, but that's not saying that Alfred won't have more to do in this movie. We don't know what
like the Jeremy Irons one.
Yeah, he might be like the second in command tactical type character.
He might even have to put on the suit for a bit. Throw a shade away.
It's just what we've seen him.
Where Alfred does that.
Yeah, in the '66 Batman cartoon, movie TV show.
You hate on the '66 Batman.
So
I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying it's a different animal.
I love the actor. Oh man, like the casting is such a waste. Like he could have stretched more of his abilities as a villain.
And going with that,
I would have rather seen him do Penguin.
Yes.
Oh, speaking of Penguin, Colin Farrell being rumored for Penguin, I have the same gripe with. I feel that he has a good range, and he could have been used as something else, something more. In the DC world, the Batman world.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm half with you, George. I think he would have been a fantastic Harvey Dent Two-Face.
Yeah?
Yes.
Hey, they could have it all wrong. These could all be switched around.
True.
Andy Serkis could be Penguin, and then Colin Farrell could be Two-Face, and then McConaughey's Alfred.
That'd be weird.
As good as Colin Farrell is as a villain, which he's done plenty of roles, I would have wanted to see him as a hero. As either someone else in the Gotham world. He could have done a good Batman.
He could have been Batman.
He could have been a good
Batman. I would like to see this just because I'm of the like I've seen what he can do, and I can't see him doing this, so that's why I want to see it. I want to see what he does with it.
Ooh, Nightwing.
You know what? I didn't want to say it, Joe, but now that you said it, I think Colin Farrell is an older Nightwing.
Yeah, especially if Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Yeah, the age would have been right for
it. If the age would have been better, he would have been a great Hush. A Tom Elliott.
Yes, that would have been good.
But
you got to capitalize on his face.
But I cannot see it. To me, I'm like, I look at him. I literally could visualize in my head him as Harvey Dent, and then going down the dark path of becoming Two-Face.
He's a good villain. He plays a great villain role whenever he does one.
McConaughey bothers me because if it is McConaughey as Two-Face, he's too old to be Bruce's best friend. If Bruce
they're not going to do that route anyways.
Yeah.
But then it goes against Two-Face. But here's the thing about that. That's another one that goes the opposite direction where it's like I can't see Colin Farrell being Penguin, so that's why I want to see it worse because I want to see what he does with it. But with McConaughey, I can't see it. McConaughey is one of those people that he has a specific style of acting, and he really doesn't deviate from it, and it does not lend at all. I mean, he's a great actor, beautiful, does great. I cannot argue with whatever he's done. He's got some great stuff under his belt. This role is just I can't see all I can see Harvey Dent is walking in, all right.
No, I'm imagining his Wolf on Wall Street character.
That's even worse.
I know, exactly. I'm just like, I can't.
No, I imagine
smacking his chest.
No, I imagine his character in fucking True Detective season 1 just talking about how life is a flat circle and going off on this crazy existential crisis rants.
But it's still it's still very much it's still very much McConaughey doing that. So I mean, it's just you can't really separate. He's got this style that just doesn't lend to this.
Man, it sucks. It sucks because Andy Serkis I see as Penguin, Colin Farrell I see as Two-Face, and then Matthew McConaughey sends those fucking old MCU rumors. I cannot unsee him as Norman Osborn.
Osborn. Yeah.
I've wanted him as Norman Osborn since those rumors, and that's been it's been years. And I cannot see it. I would have loved Norman Osborn. Matthew McConaughey as Norman Osborn.
Hey, the only thing that he can't do it now.
True.
Yeah.
So we all seem okay-ish with these rumors.
I mean, if they all turn out to be true, except for the McConaughey one, I'm fine.
Look, I mean,
if they all turn out to be true, this is an incredible fucking cast.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
This is a big cast.
And
it's better than having Jonah Hill in there.
I disagree with that. I think he would have done it. I think he would have done it.
Imagine him as Alfred.
Wow.
I don't know, man.
Jonah Hill as Two-Face.
I only see Jonah Hill in like comedy roles. I can't see him in anything in the Gotham world.
Go watch the one where him and James Franco is the serial killer that takes his life.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
What is this? I have not heard of this.
You heard of this?
That's a good movie. Yeah.
I never saw it, but I know that one.
It's a true story. It's
the name of it.
James Franco. I can't think what it's called. He's a serial killer, and he masquerades. He uses this guy who's a writer. He uses this guy's identity, and now I gotta look it up now because I can't. It was really good.
Well,
True story.
True story. Yeah, it's called True Story.
That's what. Yeah, there you go. It is called True Story.
Wow, nice and simple. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. Kind of like Krasinski, that I couldn't see him in a serious role until Kevin told me to watch. What was that movie?
13 Hours.
13 Hours.
The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
So
Michael Bay.
Yeah, it was awesome.
You got Jonah Hill plays Michael Finkel, a recently terminated New York Times journalist who struggled for work after a story gone wrong. One day he receives a phone call from him regarding an FBI most wanted individual named Christian Longo, who's been captured and claimed to be living as Finkel. Longo and Finkel meet and form a potential marriage-shattering bond while Longo is in prison awaiting his trial. Finkel exchanges journalism tips for real events behind Longo's alleged heinous acts of murdering his family.
Damn.
Sweet.
It was a good movie.
Yeah, I remember wanting to see it and I never got around to it.
I'll have to give it a watch.
Bro, by now it's fucking 4 years old. That's crazy.
Time flies, man.
Yeah.
Especially in the movie world, there are so many movies being pumped out now.
Pumped out and then either not released or released elsewhere and you never see it.
Yeah. Or released on streaming services that you can't get to. It's frustrating.
All right, I want to get to TV.
Let's get to TV.
I'm excited for TV.
So let's
end of our fake news segment.
Yeah, rumor mill is over. So now we've got three things we're going to talk about for the movies. Let's start with you. You watched the entirety of Jack Ryan season 2.
Yeah. So now to George's point of John Krasinski from The Office as Jim, people have said that like you can't see him in a serious role, and I suggested 13 Hours. What did you think of 13 Hours? Him in 13 Hours at least.
It was amazing.
Right. So now imagine if you extended that and added another layer to him of like normal man, but with that as a side thing, which was season 1 of Jack Ryan.
I feel like it's a little bit of a mixture of Jim from The Office.
Yes.
With
him in 13 Hours.
Exactly.
Right. So then now some people thought that was cool. A very minority. The majority hated that. I was one of them. I thought it was fucking silly because he's a desk jockey for the CIA because he's a data analyst for the CIA. Literally, all he does is my job, which is just run queries and database stuff. And his point is he follows the numbers. That's why he discovered the existence of a terrorist cell in season 1 of Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan on Amazon. So season 1, it's literally like they're trying to showcase so hard that John Krasinski's like, hey, get it? He's an action hero, but he's kind of so they do it as if like a Superman-esque, where he's like regular man at the desk, and they cannot know about his side missions for the CIA. But it's the same to me in my mind. I'm like, it's still the CIA. Why does he still have to lie to his own coworkers? So that to me was throwing me off.
I think it was because he wasn't supposed to be out there doing that. Like the boss took him.
Well, clearly he wasn't. Yeah, he clearly wasn't because they saw like, yo, like I'm an analyst. I'm not supposed to be there. They're like, you know more.
Over and over the whole series.
You know more than what you could debrief us on the plane. So we need you over there.
Yeah.
So, and then he has a background of being a badass because he was a soldier, got shot down, had 3 back surgeries, and he's like, fuck it, I'm not going to witness more people die. I'm going to hit the desk. So, whole first season is that whole problem, in my opinion. I think, Justin, you would dig it because it shows John Krasinski's chops of some comedic roles and some really weird bland shit, like him at the desk or whatever, and lying to people he knows or whatever. But when he's on those missions, to me, it's fucking gold.
He's an action superstar.
Right. But a lot of stuff is really convoluted with the whole passing of information. It kind of holds your hand a lot. It really thinks American people are stupid watching this show.
I mean, sometimes.
Right. So then me going into season 2, I was pumped, but cautious. I was like, please don't be season 1 again. I don't want that again. And then it starts right when it starts. And I was already disappointed where he wasn't stationed in Moscow. And I was like, what the fuck? That was the ending of the first season. That is the best and grittiest CIA post, which is Moscow. And he declined it, and he's now working in Capitol Hill as some kind of investigative position for senators. And I'm like, come on, man. But of course, once again, he stumbles upon the villain of the season, a corrupt Venezuelan president. So once again, it's very contemporary. Here, just have my yeah. I just don't want to finish the muffin.
Only comes you've had in weeks.
Well, I'm sitting here next to it smelling and going, God damn it, now I want
that.
That's pumpkin spice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. But yeah, so the whole second season is this corrupt Venezuelan government plot with evil president. And it's exactly that. Like there are some twists and turns, but nothing mind blowing. So once again, it kind of treats you as like you're dumb, but it fixes all the problems in the first one. Krasinski is a badass the whole time. He's that.
He's accepted. He's a badass.
He's typical, white man savior, where he's got all the answers and he has to take no answer. He has to take no for an answer from any of the officials. He goes on his own. He goes rogue because they're like, pack it up. You're done. Come back home or whatever. And he's like, no. And he goes to London and get answers. And it's crazy. But
like Tom Clancy book.
Right. But I ate it up. It was like crack. It was like I was watching 24 again. 24, Jack Bauer. So I was like, yes, this is awesome. And there was no like double agent lying shit. Like he was like, he's lying to the bad guys, but it's because he's after them. I'm like, yes, this is awesome. And then there's an assassination subplot. I'm like, oh, I'm fucking about this. And then he goes after answers and he gets answers and he plots shit. I'm like, oh, this is like a puzzle piece and it fits together. There's some hand holding, which really bothers me. Again, treating me like we're stupid. But a lot of it, I have to admit, was really complicated. So halfway into the season, even I was like, okay, I need to take a step back and see what is actually happening. Who was actually a friend? And I'm like, okay, you know what? That actually shows this season is doing its job. And I really want to showcase, mainly to you, Justin, and I know Joe, because you would dig the action. The final episode is fucking incredible.
Nice.
Where the people are rioting and literally, rioting against the Venezuelan government. And then John Clancy, goddamn. John Krasinski's Jack Ryan character with literally less than a handful of other soldiers who have been lost in the jungle. He single-handedly saves them, and then they get recruited by him. Like 5 guys, it's like 4 or 5 guys, go infiltrate this Venezuelan embassy and take out like 80 fucking people.
Some SEAL Team 6 shit.
Dude, this like how John Wick is like gung fu. This is like gung fu like erection
on steroids.
It is so fucking awesome. Krasinski is incredible, and he's so emotional because he loses friends the whole season.
Oh wow!
And it's gut wrenching because one of the scenes, and it's actually the first one. He has to call the wife of the person that died, and that scene broke my fucking heart. And it's the ending of the first episode.
Wow!
So he's emotional, dramatic, and he's a badass the whole second season. And I was like, dude, give me this more immediately.
So what you're saying is John Krasinski for Mr. Fantastic.
Sure. But he's so awesome in this. And I thought this season was incredible. And again, this is season 2 of Jack Ryan on Amazon.
I'm going to go home and watch it.
Please.
Right now.
Please. It's so good. Dude, it's so good. Like, I actually don't mind rewatching it. Like, before, like, let's say season 3 comes out. Because season 1, I did not want to rewatch.
Yeah, you even mentioned to one of our coworkers today that if they wanted to watch something, don't watch season 1 of Jack Ryan.
I like
watch season 2.
I like how it's going about like the typical CIA drama, like 24, Homeland. What's another one? Berlin Station, where it's just
a self-contained
each season. It's not, I don't want to say self-contained, where the plot is just that season, and then the next season is like, okay, some time has gone by, and that's like this season's past. They refer to stuff, but it's not a continuation.
Yeah.
So to me, you could literally jump into season 2 where you're like, oh, okay, he goes back to being a badass. You get more tidbits of his past because of friends. He loses friends, and he's just, to me, a total badass in the season.
I tried to watch the first episode of the first season. I couldn't get through it.
Yeah, that's fine. To me, do that same thing with the first, I dare you, the first episode of this season and not continue. I'm telling you, I sat down, and hell, my fiance here is in the room now. I sat down and I watched. I barely through 5 episodes the first sitting. It was just that good.
The season 10 episodes?
It's only 8 episodes.
It's 8 episodes.
Yeah.
You watched almost the whole thing in one sitting.
Yeah.
He never does that.
Yeah, it's true. I rarely do that.
Like months to finish.
Weeks. This season was last Friday and I finished it.
Yeah. Oh, that's.
And I'm telling you, I'm still hyped from it that I don't mind rewatching it before season 3.
You spoke passionately about it. I mean, you got me hyped. I'm about to leave the podcast right now and go watch.
And I'm finally happy that it does like the ending of the first one, but less ambiguous. Where okay, he's finally embracing his role as I'm a stay a badass and not return to any desk or fucking Washington or none of that. No. I'm gonna be an agent for the CIA and be a badass. I'm like, yes, just give me that.
Also, season 3 is gonna be gun ho. Oh, there is. It hasn't been renewed, right?
I fucking hope so, because I have to admit this season was expensive.
Can imagine,
dude. You see Venezuelan government buildings and barrios and bro and London and all this like beauty. It's in Washington. It's great and explosions like almost every other episode.
It's Amazon money.
Yeah,
and this is one of their shows that are actually taking off. You know, it's helping their streaming service.
My fingers crossed that I really want the Hunt for Red October storyline next season.
That's the one we were hoping this season was going to be.
Yeah.
And considering that he's now embraced it after season 2, it sounds like that would be good for season 3.
They might not, because I heard something about one of the directors, I think Andrew Bernstein, that they're trying to embrace contemporary issues, which is why the first one was about an ISIS faction that was recruiting European citizens to their Middle Eastern terrorists.
And then we have the Venezuela thing, which is
and then
happening.
The current thing of Venezuela and whatnot. There are seeds in this season about like some China stuff. So I'm like, okay, that's contemporary.
Yeah, you're going to have some Hong Kong rights.
Right. So maybe they'll show some stuff of that next year. But I know how China is, of like anything involves China, it cannot be shown in any evil light, and then they won't finance stuff or they won't show it at all. And I know Amazon is big over there. I think, actually. I'm actually not sure.
I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure.
Because they have a lot of ranging content.
Yeah. But they are international, so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, season 2 of Jack Ryan on Amazon is amazing. Justin, please, just check out the first episode.
I'll watch it. I've never really been a big fan of Jack Ryan, to be honest with you.
I have. I love CIA stuff.
I don't, I watched Hunt for Red October, but Hunt for Red October, that's Sean Connery.
Yeah.
And then I never saw Clear and Present Danger. I never saw Patriot Games.
I saw
Clear and Present Danger.
Patriot Games.
Great.
Wait,
then,
I saw that one.
And then I did see the one with Ben Affleck as Jack Ryan, which was
Some of Our Fears.
Yeah. And then
that was just a disaster movie. I don't even know why it was not considered.
Well, that one ended with an actual nuke going off.
That's what I'm saying. But then again, to me, I'm like, I had already seen 24.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh,
nuke going off. Okay, big deal.
Then the last one was with what's his name, Captain Kirk. So Chris
Pine
as Jack Ryan.
Shadow Recruit.
And I was just by that point, I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, to me, it's kind of like you got to choose between James Bond and Jack Ryan, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm a James Bond.
Well, what about the Mission Impossible people?
Ah, fuck that shit.
Oh no, that's the better franchise. Wholeheartedly.
I mean,
that is incredible.
The current franchise of 007. The current franchise of 007 is kind of weak to me, to be honest.
Yeah, and then Mission Impossible has only gotten better.
More invested. No.
Yeah, since 3?
I'm more invested in James Bond because I got a lot of history with that. But I will say that everything was getting better with Mission Impossible until the last one.
No, I loved it.
Everyone
last
raves about it.
I give a fuck, dude. I watched that episode, and that was one of those movies where I watched it. I was just like, this is just more of the same. It's nothing changes.
I can feel a little similar. I mean, after.
But that's most spy stuff. There's always a mole.
I know, but
they always get disavowed. There's always something.
When I say more of the same, I mean, I really, that's a weird term to use because you can watch James Bond and go, well, that's always the same.
Yeah, especially since there's so many iterations.
Yeah, that's true. I can't argue with that. But what I'm saying, when I say more of the same, it's just I watched, the one where Rogue Nation.
Yeah,
and I loved Rogue Nation. I thought Rogue Nation was great, which was not the last one.
No, the last one was Fallout.
Yeah. Okay. So I watched Rogue Nation and I loved Rogue Nation. I went and saw that a couple times in the theater.
It was awesome.
I thought that movie was great, and I stand by that. I think that's.
And I thought it was going to be really difficult. I mean, each one I keep thinking it's going to be difficult to beat. Mm-hmm. 3 was awesome with J.J. Abrams.
Yes, totally.
And 4 Ghost Protocol by Brad Bird. I was like, there's no way they could top this.
Yeah.
And Rogue Nation.
No problems here. No problems here. Yeah. 3, 4, 5, totally it. This last one, it felt so much like the one before it. Like it felt like Rogue Nation that maybe I need to watch it again, but I like
how it ties it. Because it literally is the fallout. It's the consequences to what happened in Rogue Nation.
Yeah.
With the returning of the Syndicate, but now as the disciples. To me, that was awesome. And then the return of Solomon
Maybe I
Lane.
should watch them back to back. Maybe I didn't get that.
That's what I did.
Yeah, maybe I should probably watch that. So, yeah, I agree. I like the Mission Impossible series. That's definitely the better of the one.
And Bourne.
But as far as, Bourne?
I like Bourne.
I like the first
trilogy.
Bourne.
There is nothing else.
I like the first Bourne.
I've watched all the Bourne things, and I'm actually currently watching, which I know I haven't mentioned, the Treadstone series.
How is that?
I kind of like it.
Cool.
And I say give the first episode to watch.
I will. Good. Because I know I'm in such a high off of Jack Ryan. I'm like, I need something else. I need more crack.
What was I going to say? But as far as Bond goes, you're saying it's not fucking Skyfall, dude.
Skyfall's amazing.
Was an amazing movie. Now, the last one was not great.
No. See, here's the thing.
Casino Royale was incredible.
Casino Royale with Daniel Craig was a great new intro, a new light of everything. Then you had Quantum of Solace.
Yeah, but you gotta see, much like with Mission Impossible, Quantum of Solace you have to watch back to back.
Yeah,
Casino Royale. Quantum of Solace is a direct sequel to.
And I believe I'm pretty sure I watched because I was on such a Daniel Craig as 007 James Bond high at that time that I watched them back to back. And to be honest, Quantum of Solace, I think the last 5 minutes I dozed off.
Yeah, Quantum of Solace feels like two movies. It feels like a sequel to Casino Royale.
It is.
And then as if the director's like, okay, fuck that other shit. This is what I wanted to do. And then this is what I wanted to do sucked. And the sad part, that was Campbell.
Martin Campbell.
Martin Campbell, who directed Green Lantern.
Well, damn, he's
Now Martin Campbell's directed some good stuff though.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, I won't shit on him. But yeah, so I haven't watched the last 007 movie, so hopefully I'll watch that.
Yeah, Spectre.
Spectre?
Yeah.
You're not gonna be much. You're not gonna.
Oh man, dude.
Skyfall. Skyfall is the epitome.
Oh no, Martin Campbell did Casino Royale, not Quantum of Solace.
Oh, so
who
did Quantum of Solace so I can shit on them?
Yeah.
Sorry, that movie was a snooze fest. If you guys feel differently, well, different opinion.
Well,
Mark Forster. I don't want to call what else.
Well, listen to Martin Campbell's like movies he's done. I mean,
Mask of Zorro.
The Antonio Banderas
one.
I guess that was good.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I mean, are we getting a crossover with Zorro and someone else in the comics?
He did GoldenEye, which is one of my favorite Bond movies.
The better Pierce Brosnan.
Pretty much the only really good Pierce Brosnan movie.
No, he had a lot of movies, and I got a couple.
He only did 4.
Yeah,
Brosnan only did 4.
Yeah,
but I felt like he was.
That's still not enough.
Like Roger Moore,
right?
Well, yeah,
or Sean Connery.
Oh no! Connery had more than 4.
So he did Mask of Zorro. He did the other one, The Legend of Zorro, which was the sequel,
mm-hmm.
and then he did Casino Royale.
The second one was bad.
Then he did Green Lantern.
Ugh. Mention that movie.
But then he also did The Foreigner. With Jackie Chan.
What?
The Foreigner.
Oh shit!
Oh wow! Okay, interesting.
Which I thought was a really good movie.
Which I still haven't seen. I'm so mad because that's so up my alley. A martial arts revenge tale.
But sliding back to TV, Justin, you saw his Dark Materials episode 1.
Now I'm gonna try and give an unbiased overview of this show.
Okay.
Because you do like fantasy.
I do.
And I tend to not.
Did anybody see the Golden Compass?
No.
You saw the Golden Compass.
I saw the Golden Compass.
You saw the Golden Compass.
So I'm the only one that didn't see it.
Okay. So for you guys, this episode, the first episode is just rehash.
Okay, cool.
Because it goes over exactly what the movie's gone over.
That's fine.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Because it's the same material. It's the same source material.
Yeah. In this world, and they tell you this at the beginning of the movie, in this world, this is a completely different universe where people's souls actually exist on their outside of their bodies because they're called demons. And they take the form of animals. Up until they turn 10, the demons change shape. They change into different animals because they haven't settled. But once they turn 10, the demon settles and becomes an animal, which reflects the inner spirit of the human that it's the soul of. And they can talk and converse with the demon as well.
Does the demon age?
With the human? With the human.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in this world, you have, to give you an idea, James McAvoy's character, he plays Lord Asriel. Okay. His demon is a snow panther. I can't think of the Snow Panther's name, but he converses with it the whole time. It's almost like you always have a companion. You know that inner voice in your head you're always talking to. It's actually there, sitting next to you, talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. So that's an interesting aspect for the show.
Now, are the animal? As the audience, do you see the animals talking back?
Yes.
Okay.
And everybody else can see them too. It's not like you are the only ones that can see.
He hates this already.
Okay.
Kevin's face is utter disappointment.
I'm in. Justin, I'm in.
Keep going for the rest of us. Keep going for the rest of us.
Okay. So in this world, religion is like government. Everything's ruled by the magisterium, and the magisterium deals a lot with religion. Is almost all religion.
So what? So it's as if like the Vatican ruled the world?
Kinda.
Wow, imagine that.
Like he doesn't like magic. I don't like religion. So.
But I mean, you gotta have opposition.
So whatever. Continue.
So, and there are little things there are little aspects of this world that are different from our world because it's a parallel universe. That's really where you kind of have to. That's really all you need to know. I think it really does a good job of explaining. When you watch the first episode, it does a really good job of explaining what's going on,
like world building.
Yeah,
good,
because it gives you a couple of different, and then you kind of have to put stuff together as it goes. Now, unfortunately for Kevin, the talking animal thing extends even further because, in addition to everybody's demon being an animal that can talk. As you get, it's not introduced in this episode, but it is coming, and they see it in the previews. Polar bears in this world can speak, and they have a kingdom of their own.
Wait,
they're warriors.
non-demon ones?
Yes, they're warriors.
The polar bears are their own race of intelligent creatures.
Yes,
which the movie never kind of, sort of, a little bit.
It doesn't really elaborate on it
because
you meet Yorick, and then
he's the only one.
Yeah. In this book, but if you watch the previews, this one shows because in the book, he actually fights to regain become king of the world, that
his
world.
race.
Yeah, his race again. In this movie, he's like, you're already like
talking polar.
At least give us episode 1, Kevin.
I mean, at least I like polar bears.
Now, I don't want to take away from his liking or anybody's liking of the show, but. I found the first episode really boring.
It's a lot of world building. It's going to be a little boring.
It's a lot of world building.
You already know what's happening.
But see, I saw the movie, so we're rehashing
the movie.
What I already know. So I'm thinking that's why it was a little boring for me. But there's more to this than there was in the movie. All right? And they get into things like the dust, which is a big part of what is going on, and what it is, and what they want to happen with it, and then children are being abducted and they don't know why, and that leads into stuff that's going on later with experimentation and stuff like that.
Does someone take over for Nicole Kidman?
The girl that takes over for her is pretty good.
Okay,
everybody was really great.
Yeah, the girl's from Luther. Oh my god, forgetting the actress's name. She's amazing in Luther with Idris Elba. She actually plays a serial killer in Luther. Oh. The one that he can't catch. Fuck. Can't remember the actress's name.
That's cool.
She looks like Michelle Monaghan, but British.
That's interesting.
How's Daphne Keane?
She's great.
Is she the main character, or is it James McAvoy?
No, she's the main character.
Okay. You literally have not mentioned her.
Because if I start talking about it, I'm going to start talking about the first episode. And I don't want to give anything away.
It's in a spoiler-free review.
Yeah, they're trying because you said you care about spoilers, so I don't want to, I mean, I can tell you that
it's going to be a rough one for you anyways, Kevin.
Yeah. The show opens with Azrael bringing Daphne Keene's character to the college where she grows up. Okay, and it talks about a flood, the Great Flood that happened. So it's more religious iconography, stuff like that. But I don't want to get too far into it because, like I said, I don't want to spoil anything that might be revealed. Because
watch it.
It was like I said, I just found it boring. But it's not to say that I'm not going to continue watching it. I already knew what was happening, so I was like, all right, well.
What platform is this on?
HBO.
Mm-hmm.
So got money. That's why they got the actors.
Gonna have high quality everything.
And it seems like they pulled a couple of people over from Game of Thrones. because James Cosmo is on the show and he was Lord Commander.
Yeah.
And then what is his name? Salazar Sling, the pirate from the second and third season. Yeah, he's in this too.
Cool.
Game of Thrones people are like, hey, we need a job.
Daphne Keene's really good. She, it's kind of hard to think that she was the Spanish-speaking girl in Logan.
For real.
She was really good. It's hard to really pick out. In fact, the only character that seemed to be really over the top was James McAvoy.
I mean, his character.
So
I'll wait. I really want to wait for you to see more, and then I'll judge more.
I can.
Because I do want to see for myself, but obviously after that, it's like I don't want to waste my time.
Is it on Sundays? Every Sunday?
No, it's Monday.
Mondays.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
weird.
because Sundays is Watchmen.
Right. Sorry. Excuse me. So
That's how you know.
I'll watch-
That's how you know it's prime time. When it's prime time, that's how you know it's premium content.
I'll watch the
Monday,
first two.
weird.
I thought it was weird
Monday's
too.
a
It
good
was like,
slot.
it's premiere. I was looking for something to watch on a Monday night, and I heard that it was premiere. I was like, really tonight? I guess I'm watching this
I
tonight.
think Monday's a good slot for a fantasy type show.
Yeah, but it's really hard to get people to watch stuff like, especially on a Monday night.
But clearly, you see which one HBO sees as
It's more profitable.
the more the
100%.
one that could garner an audience, Game of Thrones level audience.
Well,
And so far, after 3 episodes, Watchmen is the one.
But the thing is, you've already said that Watchmen's like one and done. So they're
That's
only
what sucks.
Yeah, it's only going to
But
get.
it was only Damien Lindelof. He even said, he goes, I'm walking away after this 9-episode season. If HBO continues with, let's say some other producers and writers from season 1 will continue with a different showrunner, that's on them.
yeah.
So he could leave.
Yeah.
But then literally, if he leaves, then so does my interest.
His Dark Materials though, you're going to get at least 3 seasons out of it because it's 3 books. So if each book covers a season,
Do you see them stretching it more?
They could, but I don't really see. I mean,
Because I think I've heard from like showrunners and like head writers where a show is mostly profitable because the first season is always the worst.
Yeah.
People get on board around second or third. Third tends to be the better season, or fourth. Everyone most say to be profitable, a show needs at least 5 seasons.
That's crazy.
4 or 5
well, I
seasons.
mean, if you like, especially in the sitcom world, you got to get to 100 episodes.
But that's syndication. That's different.
syndication.
That's thinking like a network.
Yeah, no, this is HBO. It's a little different.
I don't want to take away. I thought the first episode was very well produced.
Enough to watch the next one.
Huh?
Enough to
Yeah,
watch.
I
the
will
next
still
one.
watch
Cool.
the show. I will still check it out. But I gotta say that first episode was just really boring for me. So let's move on to Watchmen because we all liked Watchmen.
Yes.
Okay. So this episode with Watchmen was still incredible.
What was that name? Something about like she was killed by space junk.
Yeah, she was killed by space junk.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. That's the episode title. And this one starts with Laurie Blake, Special Agent Laurie Blake, walking into a Dr. Manhattan phone booth and calling him on Mars.
Telling him a joke.
And telling him a joke.
So not only has she embraced her dad's last
this
name,
is also
she's embracing his personality.
This is Laurie Uspechik, who was the second Silk Spectre after her mom, who was Laurie Uspechik. And then when at the end of Watchmen, you find out that her mom was raped by a comedian, and she's actually his daughter, and his last name is Blake. So and then she's a ruthless bitch. She is fucking ruthless. Especially in this episode.
Played by Smart.
Gene Smart.
Gene Smart. Fucking incredible.
Great.
Dude, like a formidable force.
So she's telling a joke, but it intercuts with what's going on in the show. You see her, she's involved in a bank robbery. In the beginning, she's robbing a bank, and they use that to draw out, what was it, the Revenger?
The Mr. Shadow.
Mr. Shadow.
The Revenger was last week.
The Revenger was last week, that's right. So they call out to bring out a vigilante, and everybody in the bank's in on it just to bring this guy out so they can arrest him.
And he's like their analog for Batman.
Mm-hmm.
He does a gravelly voice, dark bulletproof suit and a cape. He has like half this like features on the top of his mask. So from the back, it looks like ears, as if bat ears, but they're not because they extend down the head down to the neck. So think of it like weird fins.
So
for like no reason. I didn't understand.
To be aerodynamic.
He tries to run, and she shoots him in the back.
Ouch. Damn.
I love that line. He goes, "How'd you know his bulletproof suit was gonna stop the bullets?" And you know what typical badass would reply?
I didn't.
Right. She doesn't say anything. So to me, I'm like, that's even more badass because she doesn't say the badass line. Because now that badass line has become so cheesy because everyone says it.
So she retires back to her house and she starts going through her stuff and she pulls out this case and opens it up and inside is something glowing blue, but you don't see what it is. And then she gets knocked on the door and a congressman visits her and tells her that Keen
Jr.
Oh.
He's going to the next day she's going to be sent to Tulsa to investigate the death of Judd of what's his name?
Don Johnson.
And she's like, "How do you know?" And he's like, "Well, I recommended you for this." And you find out that Keen was the one that introduced the law that made that all the cops wear masks and stuff like that. DOPA, yeah. But the cool thing is the way this scene is framed, I think, is brilliant because they're talking to her, and behind her is a picture, and it's comedian, Night Owl, Dr. Manhattan, and then it's like a 4-piece, and she's blocking the fourth picture, which is her. Yeah, so that's supposed to tell you that she's the fourth person, and that's how you know that she's the original suspect. Wow. So, or not the original, the second one. So she goes in the FBI. They start talking about all the shit that's happening in Tulsa with the 9th Cavalry and everything. And then they say, "Well, you're going to," and then they tell her she's going to Tulsa with all the people in the room. She's like, No, I'm going to go by myself. You see a whole bunch of suits show up. Nobody's going to trust me. I got to go by myself. And then he tells her, "Well, you got to take somebody." So they take the guy who's running the slides, who's already fucked up once because he's going through the slides, and then he goes through this. It goes through the whole thing. You're going over the 9th Cavalry, and all of a sudden, a piece of paper shows up on the slide. He's like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
Yeah, it's Rorschach's journal.
It's like, "Oh, it's a piece from Rorschach's journal." I thought maybe it would, kind of help what's going on in the
to understand psychology of the criminals. And he goes, "Are we in the 1980s? Who gives a fuck about Rorschach?" And it cuts to Lori. That's awesome. But I like how but people know this is not a secret. They know who she is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they even look at her, and they're talking about the DOPA Act, the defense. What is it? Defensive officer. Oh my god.
I don't remember.
Defense of Organized Police Act.
Something like that. Yeah. And then there's even she even says a line like, "Really, you called it DOPA?"
I love that the show points out its own ridiculousness.
Right, and I think that's awesome. I think that because it's realistic.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're explaining about the thing in Tulsa about how the police have to wear a mask, and they're like, "Oh, and who here doesn't like secret identities, right, Lori?"
Wow.
Defense of Police Act.
Defense of Police Act. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, I mean normally in acronyms you don't count.
But
articles.
DPA would sound weird.
Okay, sure.
So she goes to Tulsa. They're going to the funeral of Judd. While she investigates some people in town, she goes sees the wife. She investigates people in town. Goes to she goes and sees Looking Glass in the pod, and basically just fucking tears him down.
What?
Yeah,
I like how she takes the control from him. Literally, the control remote. She's like, "What's this do?"
The funny thing is when he gets in there, it's like, "Oh, so," because she said, "What's this do?" And it's going through all this stuff. And he's like, "It's supposed to help understand what the people are thinking." It's like, "Oh, so it's a giant racist detector." It's like, it's not a racist detector.
He's like, that's an oversimplification.
Yeah. And then later on in the conversation while he's tearing her down, he's like, "So what do you think you're going to find out with you and this giant racist detector?" It's not a racist detector.
But I like the way that whole interrogation is framed because he's the one that is typically the one going into the pod faceless, so they don't know his identity and doing the questioning. But here, with the mask on, she knows his name. He's a detective. She knows his name.
She knows who he is.
Right. Yeah, well, the first thing she does is while he's sitting there, he's talking to her, she cleans her teeth. It's like, "Sorry, you're going to wear a mirror. People are going to use it."
Well, because the same that Don Johnson's.
Well, no, Johnson's put your mask on so I can check me out.
Yeah.
But she's just flat out just starts cleaning her teeth. It's like, "I'm sorry, if you're going to wear a mirror, people are going to use it."
Oh.
So
and then she's like, "Do you want to take your mask off, or would you rather I just refer to you as?" She basically says, "Look, I know who you are." So, and then he takes it, rolls it up. Which is weird because even at home when he's eating his Hungry Man dinner, he just rolls it up to here.
He had, I guess, it's kind of like that thing, he's embraced.
I think it's more he's
paranoid.
He feels like he doesn't have any of the identity but that.
No, I think George is on to paranoid because, dude, if there's a famous night where all of my colleagues were shot up and some were killed, I'm going to be fucking paranoid.
And most were killed.
Mm-hmm. Hell, and in their homes.
With their families. They said like over 40 officers and families.
But I like as Laurie Blake is interrogating him, it cuts to his face to see his pupils. Because he explains how he detects it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when your pupils dilate, et cetera, et cetera. It was a really good explanation.
So she goes to the funeral to meet Sister Knight.
Angela.
They go to the funeral. She's like, I'm not a cop anymore. And then Laurie's like, yeah, right, whatever. So, if you feel anything, here's my card, you can call me or whatever. They go through the funeral. Ninth Cavalry shows up, digs a hole to a crypt, and then jumps out of the crypt with a bomb on him. And he jumps out and he says, look, this bomb's tied to my heart. And who does he take? He takes
Keen.
Takes Keen hostage. He's like,
he goes, Keen, you are a race traitor.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and then in the middle of all this shit going down, fucking Laurie shoots him in the head.
After turning in all authority stuff like not memorabilia, what contraband, including guns. You have to leave that at the gate to enter.
Yeah, but she had one.
But she had one in her ankle.
She had one in her ankle.
The cliche.
So then when she shoots the guy, the bomb starts beeping. And she's like, "Oh fuck!" Oh. Which later she explains. She goes, "I didn't think he actually did it."
She says
most of the time they're lying.
They're lying when they say that. But, so they have to push the Angela pushes the guy into the
crypt.
Into the hole they've dug for Judd, and then pushes the coffin with Judd in it on top of it. So the bomb goes off, and then there was even a joke later where she's like, "See, Judd saved us twice."
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she's like, because she's like, Angela, I should thank you. She goes, why? Judd is the one that jumped on the grenade, on the bomb. All I did was give him a little push.
Right. Yeah. Oh, dude, that's so dark. I love it.
But to me, it's so weird because Angela found a Klan outfit in his closet, and she's still respecting the man that she knew.
Because she doesn't know. She doesn't know what it means.
Yeah, she literally thinks that the other old man that apparently is her grandfather framed him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I know that scene where it's like, you actually went to go look in his closet? I didn't mean literally.
Yeah, I didn't mean literally.
But see, now Laurie tells Angela, though, she's talking to her, and she said, because they meet, they have coffee, and she meets him at the scene, and he's like, I went to his closet. You know what I found there? And she's like, no, what? He's like, why don't you tell me? It's like, well, how would I know? He's like, well, wife said you were the only one who was in that closet since after Judd died.
And you don't look like the fainting type to me.
Yeah.
Dude, just two incredible actresses out-acting each other was more than enough for the episode for me.
And then at the end of it, you could tell that Angela's pissed, so she pours the coffee that she's been given down the hole that the guy had dug, and is just like, whatever, and leaves.
Jesus.
But it ends up, and I've been waiting to get to this point because it was just so off the wall. She goes back, so Laurie goes back to the hotel, right? And with the guy in tow that she's pulled from the bureau, right? She goes into her room.
It's been all over Twitter, so you might have already heard of it.
You might have already heard
of it. No, I haven't.
Okay.
Oh, that's crazy.
Okay. So
the memes are...
Yeah. She pulls out that case that she pulled out at the beginning of the episode, the blue.
Okay.
And inside the case is a giant blue atomic dildo.
I knew it. You know what? I hadn't seen those things, but the second you said that in the earlier scene, I was like,
dildo.
Yeah. I was like, I think it's probably a dildo.
Dildo, right.
I wanted to say, but I didn't want it to be so vulgar on the
down
show.
To like, yeah.
Oh, God. How did I not fucking see that?
Dude, huge.
How did I not see that?
And not only that, but she pulls it out of the case and she's got to put the balls on it.
Oh, balls come separately?
It comes separately, yes.
Yeah. And then in the opening of the case, it's a magazine cover of her.
Yeah, hold it, because she used to date Dr. Manhattan.
Right.
Hey, bro.
I love how even the guy that she brought, the projectionist guy, he's a professor of history. And he's like saying all these things. When she goes, what? Like, are you a fan? You want me to autograph something? He goes, I'm not a fan. I know about history and this and that. He goes, yeah, I know all about you and your ex, who, by the way, is the most powerful being in all of existence on not our planet anymore.
Yeah.
So going,
the booth connects to Mars.
Yeah, she's talking.
That she's called him, but he never replies.
And she tells him a joke. But see, what's going on, while this is all going on, because we haven't even talked about the other thing, the big revelation of this episode is the fact that
the Jeremy Irons
stuff that's going on. Because his whole part starts with him making a suit. You see him sewing stuff together, putting it together, and then he puts one of his clones in the suit. He's like, this one's going to make it this time. And you see, like, he's put him in, like, this half-made suit of armor that he's kind of sewn up and put, like, oxygen tank on. And then it cuts, and the next time you see him, he's on the ground, he's dead, and he's frozen. The clone.
Yeah.
So he's like, it wasn't enough. So he decides, he's like, I need a thicker suit. So you see him go hunting. And he goes hunting, and he passes you've seen the picture in the trailers where it's the scythe with the pirate flag on it?
Yeah.
The Blackfriar flag.
Yeah, well, that I guess is a marker for where his boundaries are, because he goes past it and he shoots a buffalo. And before he can skin the buffalo, somebody shoots at him, and it basically gives him a look like you better go back to where you...
It's a masked person.
Yeah.
It's a masked, like, cowboy.
So when he goes home, there's a letter from that guy. He's a gamekeeper.
Oh, they're singing to him again, and it's 3 candles now.
No, 3 candles, and he just takes the cake, he throws it on the ground, and he gets a letter from that gamekeeper, and he's like, when you came to live here, we established where you were allowed to go and not to go. If you decide you're going to go past those boundaries, consider that shot at your feet your only warning. The next shot will be at your head. I will kill you if you leave the area again. And he's like, well, let's type a reply. And he's like, the funny thing is when he starts reading, she starts reading, because you have no idea who Jeremy Irons is up until this point. When he starts reading the letter, dear, and Jim, before she could say who it is, he's like, dispense with all the pleasantries, just get to it.
So as an author, like, God damn it. Like, we know who you are, just say it.
Yeah, so he goes through the good type. He basically he has her type, Miss Crookshanks type a letter back as he's dictating it.
Yeah, he's a dear game warden. That's like the guy refers to himself as the game warden. So he refers to him as that, as such too.
He basically blows smoke up his ass, telling him it's never going to happen again, bullshit, whatever. But then he ends it with, sincerely, Adrian Veidt. So you find it, but then it goes one step further, because in the next scene, he actually puts on the Ozymandias costume.
Wow.
Oh! And he just stands in front of the mirror, like,
reliving his glory days.
Dude, and it's so funny, because you would think it would, like, maybe they would go, like, in some, like, dark, gritty approach to it. No, it looks overly comic booky. Like, it looks like cosplay.
Nice.
And but when you think of it, of like vigilantes in the 80s, before, or in a world where superheroes weren't famous or even created, that it would be bad. It would look bad. And I was like, it's so funny. It looks cheesy.
Oh yeah.
Especially with an old man putting it on.
Yeah.
Dude, Jeremy Irons is really selling this character.
Yeah. He's been really great since episode 1, where I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was all in.
I'll watch the next
So you get that first he's Adrian Veidt, obviously, but that he's kind of captured or gave up or like left wherever he was to be here instead. So I guess to get away from humanity.
Yeah, he kind of put himself in seclusion. And with the way it's worded, that he chose to come here with the game warden's letter, it's like he put himself in like self-imposed exile.
Well, it should be, because when at the end of Watchmen, Rorschach knew, and he wrote in his journal, that it was all Veidt that did that. And then the last scene of Watchmen is the book being sent to a newspaper to be published. Now, in this storyline, I think they've pretty much established that nobody believes it. Because there's
no internet.
Yeah.
There's no internet.
Technology is like almost non-existent.
No. Technology on the communication side.
Yeah.
Medicine is great. And vehicles.
Vehicles. The cars all...
Energy. Basically energy and...
Energy and medicine.
Energy and medicine, right. Not communication.
Communication internet drives. I mean, they're still using payphones.
But
they work to Mars, though, at least.
No, they use beepers.
Dude, beepers?
Wow.
What time period is this supposed to take place in?
This is present. It says the year 2019.
Wow, in a world where internet didn't exist.
But think of it. A president that abolished terms before that, and then was never impeached, right? Yeah, so he was never impeached.
Died before Watergate happened.
Yeah,
mysteriously died.
So then a liberal president has been president for 30 years, which is Robert Redford, or no longer Robert Redford, for 30 years. So a lot of stuff, and then the thing of what happened in New York. So a lot of advancements, a lot of more resources were put into possibly medical and energy to transport these medical advancements. You get me? So a lot of resources were put into into more things than telecommunications.
Yep.
So it kind of makes sense. What I don't understand is like, it should at least advance to like flip phones, you get me, or like brick phones. But man, still beepers, and like literally no internet. To me, that's weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
So that to me screams government like control, like restriction.
Yeah,
that does.
Like restricting the flow of information.
For that to go to at least those big brick Nokia phones.
It's not that weird to me. I grew up in a world without that, so.
I mean, I grew up in a world without that too. I just got it halfway through.
So
that was Watchmen 3.
It was great episode.
Great.
Oh, and the episode ends with the car that was pulled up into the sky.
In episode 2.
In episode 2, gets dropped at Gene Smart's feet at the end of this episode. And she just starts crying. At this point, after she's lost faith, she's walked out of the phone booth. She's like, "You never listen anyway. You never answer." He's talking to Dr. Manhattan. And she's kind of looking for a sign that she's doing the right thing. And then, boom, it falls at her feet.
Yeah. And it reflects the joke he's been trying to tell her.
Yeah.
She's been trying to tell him.
Oh, what's the joke?
It's weird.
It's really long. It's like comedian level long. It's like, I'm telling you, she's really embraced her father. Not just a name, like down to like attitude. Where down, what's the line that he even says? When she captures the guy in the beginning after the bank robbery, they're like, "What are you doing? He's a hero. Like he's done nothing wrong." And she's like, "He's not a hero. He's a fucking joke." And of course, one comedian said that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of parallels to her dad and her mom, because she's fought with her mom. Again, I'm only coming at this from the point of view of the movie. She fought with original Silk Spectre for having all this old memorabilia of the comedian in the house.
Yeah.
And then here she is in her own apartment with a framed picture of the team of Watchmen when she's on it. And a fucking blue dildo from Dr. Manhattan.
Giant blue atomic dildo. That's the name of the episode.
Yes.
I've been holding on to that one for a while.
That is a great title.
It's a good holdout.
Giant blue atomic dildo.
We have to end it there. There's still nothing else we can say.
Cut to black.
So, thank you for listening. Next week, there will be a review, come hell or high water, of Terminator Dark Fate.
I will watch it.
If he doesn't watch it, doesn't matter. We're spoiling.
Oh, no, I'm a big Terminator fan. I'm going to watch it.
Me too. I'll watch it.
Good.
So, tune in next week. You know, we say the same thing at the end of every episode, so we're just going to go bye.
Peace out.
There you go.
Shut it.